So I was going to do the whole review with these on, but I'm just sort of looking at myself right now in the camera reflection, and yeah, I don't pull these glasses off as well as Robert Downey, do I? Hello and welcome back to another review, guys. Now that's right, today we're back continuing on with my MCU reviews. Now, I didn't follow the Avengers review up super quickly with my review for Iron Man 3 because we had Black Widow come out in between. I didn't want to overload everyone with Marvel because, you know, as much as I love Marvel, I don't want the channel to just become Marvel videos all the time. You know, like to keep things a bit fresh. So, but it's about time we come back. We continued on with my MCU reviews. And the funny thing is, we're probably not even going to get to Thor: The Dark World before we have another new one, because Shang-Chi's out in, what, 3 weeks? So, yeah. But anyway, today we are back. We're reviewing Iron Man 3. Bit of a controversial one, looking back at things. Not entirely sure why, as you'll see here in this review when I give my opinions on it. But anyway, we're going to just, we'll get started, we'll do the usual. So Iron Man 3 is directed by Mr. Shane Black, who is an absolutely incredible director when he wants to be, with things like The Nice Guys, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. However, he does like to slip a little bit, we've seen now with The Predator from 2018. But this film picks up straight after the events of the Avengers. Tony Stark is suffering from this, what happened during the first Avengers film, and there's some new bad guys that he needs to beat as well, some from his past, which I think is quite interesting, the way they go about introducing these villains. So we're going to do spoilers, because this film come out in 2013. This is, you know, the film's getting on a bit now. It was exciting to see Iron Man back, I think, having a new Iron Man film, because, you know, it had been a while at this point since Iron Man 2. First off, let's just talk about the casting and stuff. You know, we've got a couple returning people here. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Wow, this guy is unbelievably perfect for this role. In another 30, 40 years, whenever, you know, if they ever decide to reboot this franchise and they cast someone else to play Iron Man, let's face it, they're just not going to do as good of a job. This man is built for this role. We have Gwyneth Paltrow returning as Pepper Potts, who's really good in this movie. Don Cheadle, who for some reason didn't get a part in the Avengers. I don't know why. But he's returning as, of course, Rhodes, War Machine. And, of course, Jon Favreau, even though he's not behind the directing chair in this one anymore, he is returning as Happy Hogan. And he's always a pleasure. We love Jon Favreau. He's great. We also have additional cast members here. Guy Pearce, who I really like. Rebecca Hall, who's a fantastic actress. I really, really want to see her get more parts, actually. And, of course, Mr. Sir Ben Kingsley. As the Mandarin, or Trevor Scott, because of course we are going to see the real Mandarin in a month's time in Shang-Chi. So that's of course the big controversial plot. I remember seeing trailers to this, and you overhear Ben Kingsley going like, I can't remember exactly what he says in the trailers, but he says things like, "You'll never see me coming, I'm going to destroy your cities," and stuff like that. He sounds very menacing, very cool. And he looks the part of the Mandarin. Like, he's got the cool glasses, he's got the cool cloak, he's got the 10 rings that are beefed up on his fingers. And it's like, wow, this guy seems pretty cool. And then they flip it on its head. He's an actor. Guy Pearce is the real villain. What's his name? His name, Adrian Killam. Who is friend of Tony Stark from the past, also knew Pepper. And he's using the Mandarin as a puppet, but he isn't really the Mandarin. He's taken the Mandarin name from elsewhere. We knew the Mandarin did exist, is the thing, because you have the 10 rings in the first Iron Man film. And even after this, we knew that the Mandarin still existed because they done a short thing with Ben Kingsley, where it's like they broke him out of prison. It was like, the real Mandarin wants to speak to you. And even in films like Ant-Man, you still saw the 10 rings. So, the fact that people got so upset was a bit confusing to me. I was like, well, you know, I think he's still out there. You know, with the 10 rings being in the first Iron Man film, it's obvious that they just sort of copied something. Also, a lot of the people that were moaning about it, I think, were just disappointed because the trailers showed him, because half these people probably haven't read an actual Iron Man comic in their life. I hadn't at this point, but I didn't care. I was like, do you know what? It worked pretty well. I thought it was a good little switcheroo. It was funny as well. Ben Kingsley played it off really well. It was really well done. So personally, I didn't mind it when it happened. I was like, it worked for the plot. It moved the plot forward in a good way. And what the hell? Marvel were fully aware. I don't think they intentionally just sacked the Mandarin off. I think they knew they'd use him again at some point. And we're getting there. We're nearly there. So the whole Mandarin thing, I don't get it. I think people got a bit too carried away with it, and they were using it as an excuse to harm what is a pretty good movie here. This movie takes Iron Man, takes Tony Stark out of the suit, and we actually have to see him not rely on his technology all the time, which was quite good. It felt a bit more like a spy thriller at times, I thought, which was really awesome. It gave some side characters a bit more time to shine. I think Pepper Potts and Rhodes, War Machine, Don Cheadle's character, it gave both of them a lot more time to shine in this film than it did the previous movies. I quite like the dynamic of, it felt very personal, this one, to Tony Stark, as in the villain has destroyed his home, he's come from the past and stuff. And it's interesting because the first two movies, you have Ironmonger and Whiplash, and they're both, you know, they've both created their own arc reactors, and they're both in Iron Man-like suits. Whereas this guy, you know, he's just a burning mess, you know. I'm not entirely sure what he is, if I recall. But he's, you know, Guy Pearce is like just a, you know, he ain't walking around in an Iron Man suit. So I thought it was nice to get a villain for an Iron Man movie that wasn't in an Iron Man suit. So I thought that works really well. There's a couple bits which were a little bit like, roll your head, like, yeah, okay. I didn't like the bit at the end where Pepper Potts, like, does a backflip and kicks a missile and stuff. I was a bit like, that's going a bit too far, isn't it? But, yeah, to be honest, there's not really too many complaints I have with this film. I thought it felt very epic at the end, like all the Iron Man suits coming out. But then again, you do go, why didn't he do that in New York? Tony, why didn't you do that in New York? But I quite like the relationship that he has with the young boy in it that you meet as well. That was quite good. And yeah, I thought visually it was quite a striking movie as well. I like all the locations that you go to in this one. I like the Iron Man suit. It feels a bit different because it's a prototype, the one he's left with. It feels like even when he has the Iron Man suit, he's a bit weak. So yeah, I genuinely had a really, really fun time with this movie. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a really fun movie. I genuinely don't get why people dislike this one, really, because I know people just get upset with the Mandarin stuff, but if you take that out of it, I think it's a consistently well-made movie. Good story, some good action, and yeah, it's Shane Black. I would say before the Predator film he did come out was a consistent director. Hadn't made a bad movie, but he made The Predator 2018, so that film sucks. But anyway, there we go. There's my review for Iron Man 3. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.